Hello children, how are you? I hope all of you are fine. A very good morning to all of you and a very warm welcome from my side. Okay, so this is my new video. In the last video, we discussed about the very first chapter of Flamingo. And that is, what is the name of the chapter? Anybody remember? The last lesson. Okay, and we discussed about Franz and Emil, Mr. Emil, and the theme of the chapter was impact of war on the lives of the people, and second thing, identity of one's own language. Fine? So now, fresh day, a fresh video with a new chapter, and second chapter of Flamingo I'm taking, Lost Spring. Lost Spring by Annie's Junk. Before moving ahead, I would like to tell you about the author. See, there are two stories in this chapter. So this video is for the first part of the chapter, that is, sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. In this video, we will be dealing with this only. Okay, fine. So, Lost Spring by Annie's Junk. Stories of Stolen Childhood. Our writer, Annie's Junk, is an Indian writer. She was born in 1964 in Rourkela in Orissa. Her childhood and adolescence days were in Hyderabad city, and she took her education from Hyderabad and United States of America. Got my point? Then she started her career as a writer. Both of her parents are writers, and she started as a columnist and editor in one of the major leading newspapers of India. Fine? So this is all about our writer. And this particular chapter is a part taken from her writing Stories of Stolen Childhood. Got my point? Now, in this video, as this chapter is having two stories, one is Sometimes I Find a Rupee in the Garbage, and the second one, I Want to Drive a Car. The first story deals with a boy called as Sahib Alam. Okay, a boy named is Sahib Alam, and he is a rat picker. Okay, a migrant from Bangladesh. The first story, that is Sometimes I Find a Rupee in the Garbage, is about a boy called as Sahib Alam, who is a migrant from Bangladesh, and now in India he is doing rat picking. Fine? Now the second story, which we will not be dealing in this video, is I Want to Drive a Car, but it is in this lesson only, about a boy called as Mukesh, whose family or entire family have been involved in bangle making, or rather we can narrate that particular story as a story of people of bangle making, involved in bangle making from the city or the town of Firozabad. So for now, at present, we are moving ahead with the very first story in this lesson, Sometimes I Find a Rupee in the Garbage. Got my point? Okay children, shall we move ahead? And once again, I will definitely repeat, if you are having book, kindly take it out. If you are having your pen or pencil, kindly take along with it, and a notebook also, because some important points and keywords you need to notify. Okay, you need to note them down. So before moving ahead, I know now you are well versed with our author, the background of the story. Now the basic theme. Still I have not discussed so much about the background of the story. Theme of the story. Okay. And the basic theme behind this, the very first one, is poverty. Okay. The theme of this chapter is the two stories revolved around these 2 points. Number 1 is poverty, and number 2 is child labor. Got my point? The theme of the story is poverty and second one is child labor. So the two stories revolve around these two themes. So we are starting with the first story. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. And the author describes a boy called as Sahib. Okay? The author describes, the story starts, a description of a boy, rather starts with a question, but I will just take it question back after this description. It starts with a description of a boy named as Sahib, and this boy is a rag picker. You understand what is rag picking? Kachra binne wala. He is a rag picker, okay, and he's just a boy. And this boy actually is a migrant from Bangladesh, Dhaka, Bangladesh. His entire family migrated from Dhaka, Bangladesh to this part of India, now so called as Simapuri in Delhi. Okay, so I hope that you have got an idea that a chapter start with this particular story. A boy called as Sahib, who is a rag picker. He is a child laborer and he is migrated from Dhaka, Bangladesh, where they used to have beautiful green fields, but all those green fields and farms were destroyed in the due course of storm. So the author questioned this boy, Sahib, why do you do this? Means, why he do rag picking? The author is questioning this small boy, why do you do this? He replies in a very simple tone, I do not have anything else to do. मेरे पास और कोई काम नहीं. I do not have anything else to do. Then the author again questioned him, why don't you go to school? He questions Sahib, why don't you go to school, our author? Sahib again replies, I don't have any school in my neighborhood. When they will build, I will go. Fine. Again an answer came. So author just stated, okay Sahib, if I actually build or start a school, are you going to come? Sahib said, sure, I will come. Okay, so in this way, the conversation started between our author and this rag picker boy who is a child laborer. After a few days, this boy went runningly towards the author. And what he said? Did your school started? Should I come? And this was a setback for an author. And sooner and later, our author realized, oh my God, what a hollow promise she made. A promise which she can never fulfill. She made to this rag picking boy who is doing this child labor. She was totally embarrassed. Okay, she was totally grieved. She was embarrassed, sorry. She was embarrassed. Why? Why? She made a promise which she could never fulfill for this child. And then she went in her thoughts. Oh my God, in this hopeless world, we make a lot of promises for this type of people. Okay? And in this due conversation, as the time passes, the author and this rag picking boy gets familiar to each other. And one day, this boy announces his name. You know my name, madam? My name is Sahib Alam. This boy, this rag picking boy, he tells the author his name. What is his name? He tells his name Sahib Alam. Lord of Universe. It means the meaning of Sahib Alam is Lord of Universe. But see what an irony in the name. Do you get the irony? Do you know what is irony? Actually, irony means the original meaning is just contradictory. It is just in contrast what has been said. Sahib-e-Alam means Lord of Universe. You know, if you are a Lord of Universe means you have full authority, you have full power, you are living a lavishing life. But see this poor rag picking boy. His name is Sahib-e-Alam. And life, totally opposite. He's a rag picker. He's a poverty stricken in such a pitiable condition. So, there is an irony in his name. He is Sahib-e-Alam. Okay. Now, our author is a continuous observant. She observes that Sahib used to roam here and there along with his few friends or a group of boys while doing this process of rag picking. Okay, so she untitles, or rather she termed, she termed them as, this group of boys, number one, as she termed them as army of barefoot boys. Number one, our author termed these boys who are involved in rag picking. In this chapter, she tells them army of barefoot boys. Okay, and secondly, she gave them a term, morning birds. Okay, these are the two very important points. If you go to the chapter, I again repeat, if you're having book, kindly just go through this reading of the book, and if you are having any facility in the soft copy, if your book is available, kindly go through the reading of the chapter. It is very, very necessary. Okay, so this chapter where we are just dealing, sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage, the first part of the story in the lost spring. Now here, title of the lost spring, I did not disclose you, or I didn't discuss you. I just directly gave you the theme. Got my point? I will discuss you later. I will discuss you later because it is the climax of our story. So, army of barefoot boys, we were here till now our author was very much familiar with this rag picker boy called as Sahib, and then after a few conversations Sahib told his name, and we found what is the irony in his name. His name means Sahib-e-Alam means Lord of Universe, but his present condition is pathetic. He is in a poverty stricken state. He is doing the job of rag picking, and you know what might have been his economical condition, but his name is Sahib-e-Alam. Now this Sahib used to move, or rather roam about with a group of boys who were also rag picker. So our author termed this group of boys as what? Army of barefoot boys. Because why she actually refers barefoot? Because all these boys who were involved in this work of rag picking were without footwears. They were not wearing chappals, they were not wearing shoes, they were not wearing any type of footwears. That's why our author actually termed these boys as army of barefoot boys. And the second term in the lesson which she gives here is morning birds. Why she gives the name of morning birds? Do you know why? Because this group of boys who were involved in rag picking were actually used to appear in the morning time, do the process of rag picking, and disappear in the afternoon time. That's why she gave these two terms to them. Now what happened in this due course of time, as our author became familiar with the Sahib-e-Alam and his group of boys who were involved in rag picking, one day she questioned to these boys, to this group of boys, about their first position. That is, why you people are barefoot? आप लोग बिना चप्पल के, बिना जूते के क्यों हैं? Why you people are barefoot? Why? And she got four different explanations of being barefooted. You understand? Not one. Our author received four different explanations for being what? barefooted. One of the boy, if you go through the lessons or if you are having the book in your hand, you can just read through over there. The very first boy said, my mother did not take it out from the shelf. Oh my God, such a silly reason. My mother did not took it out from the shelf. Second boy, he was wearing a mismatched shoe. Might he has found somewhere in course of rack picking. He told, what? Even she take it out, I won't like it to wear. Third one, what the third one replied, you know? The third boy replied that, I want the shoe. Might he had never wore the shoe in his entire life. And the fourth one replied, it's a tradition to be barefooted. It's a tradition to be barefooted. So a simple question, 4 answers. Why do people are not wearing chappals? Why do people are barefooted? A simple question has been asked by our author and 4 reply came. Actually, these 4 explanation or excuses are rather they are giving, these boys are giving for their perpetual state of poverty or their continuous state of poverty. It means in originality, these boys are not able to afford the footwears. Understood? That's why they have 4 different explanation. One is giving, my mother does not give it out or take it out from the shelf. Other who's wearing the shoes, say I don't want it. Other ones wants the shoe, and the last one wants it. It's a tradition to be barefooted. It is a tradition to be barefooted. Oh my God, these people actually cannot afford a footwear also. And you know how is garbage? Garbage is not like a filter thing. It's not like a filter. You might have seen, you are class 12 students, the garbage people who are involved in this the job of rack picking, they actually scrounge in the garbage. Kuch bhi ho sakta, anything can be there. And see, in that also they are not having footwears. So what is their pathetic condition, economic condition? And hearing all this, hearing all their explanation, our author just remember a story from Udupi, which was once told by a man to our author, that there was a small child who used to pray in the temple that mother or to the deity or to a goddess, grant me the shoes. There was a small child who used to pray in the temple for shoes. Actually, this child father was a priest in that particular temple. This story was told to our narrator by a man from Udupi.